This is day 287. The path. The past does not exist. Sorry about the audio today, but I had no choice. A book written in the year I was born was called Journey to Ixtlan by Carlos Castaneda. This book became beloved by the drug culture, and as was typical, they missed the point completely. When I was in my high school, college years, I read every book I could get my hands on, and this was one book that I remember reading vividly. And no, that was not because I was high on peyote. I have never used peyote and never planned on it. However, I have run in the desert all night long with no flashlight. That's a joke. You'd have to read the book to understand. But this book was a quote. In this book, there was a quote from the protagonist, Don Juan, who states the following regarding personal history. One must reduce to a minimum all that is unnecessary in one's life. Once you erase personal history, it's like an anchor has been dropped. I never understood this phrase, and for most of my life was irritated by it. Of course you have a personal past. Of course you can't avoid it. Your personal past is important and makes up who you are. I was irritated that someone would write such a piece of advice. That is until I found some regret and shame creeping into my life. Then I understood. A great leader once told me that hiking up to the top of a mountain is a lot easier when you are not carrying a bag of rocks. My advice to you is to drop the bag of rocks. This proved to be sage advice that would come back to play much later in my life. When I was younger, full of ambition, hopes, and dreams, and being a bit too idealistic, I had no room for such notions. However, after I made a few mistakes, took some wrong turns, and experienced some failures, did I understand what this Don Juan character was talking about. I understood why all major religions have redemption built into their program. We can become saddled by regret and shame. We can become tethered to beliefs and ways of thinking that worked well at one time but do not work for us anymore. We can become stuck in the way things were instead of dealing with the way things are. As a consequence of, I have added this concept to my fourth principle in my 10-day series. Principle number 4, the past does not exist. This is true if you think about it. When you wake up in the morning, all the bad things you have done and the good things you've done just do not exist anymore. They are over, and there's nothing you can do about it. The only thing you can do is deal with what is in front of you right now. There's no use worrying about what you did or what others did before. There's no use relying on how good you used to be because all you really have is what you have brought you to the table today. Having this mindset that the past does not exist helps you focus on only helpful thoughts. That is, living in the present and not hanging out in the past all day long. The now is all you really have any power to influence anyway. The now